affects the development of the body. First of all, we must understand the embryology. In embryology, how the brain one stem develops into the brain, from brain development to the neuron development to the neurogenesis, the angiogenesis, the frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital, the grooves, the gyrus, the sulci, the correlations between the each other, how sensory creates the motor movements, how motor movements are created. Am I speaking too fast for outsiders?
Something.
I
No,
think
sir.
Indians can
Okay, sir.
understand.
No, sir. No.
Okay, sir.
For outsiders out of India, am I in a right speed or I must slow my speed?
Yeah, okay, Sastry.
Okay. If I am going fast, please tell me, huh? Because we don't know because we close our eyes and then we speak, right? So we don't know how fast we are speaking.
Okay,
There is
sir.
no one to tell me, right? So if I speak too fast, please tell me, slow down, sir. Go slowly, right?
Okay.
There is nothing to be harmed. There is no ego out here, right? Ultimately, it is for the benefit of you people. You should be benefited, right? So whenever we are speaking about a disease or anything, we must understand the development of the brain. Even for a neural disease, pain is a neural mechanism of recovery. And until that neural mechanism does not support, the recovery cannot take place. The most important part which we understand is the recovery of the patient, right? So when we speak about the recovery of the patient, we must understand what was the problem. So when we speak about the neural side of the problem, we must understand the entire architecture of the system, where the problem created and how it was created, right? So when we know when was the problem created, how it was created, and what is the mechanism of creation, then we are in a position to speak, yes, this is how we can proceed. You understood what I mean? So neural development is a critical period. So the brain architecture begins from the womb, from the neural networking and establishing the early connection. So here we must understand any damage which happens inside the brain in the early development of the patient leads to what? It leads to the degeneration of the brain. It leads to delayed milestones. So from here the CP starts. It is called cerebral palsy. So you must understand the deprivation of oxygen during the development part. If it does not acquire a proper space, it does not go through a proper developmental way, then there will be a damage inside the brain. And that is why in many cases we advise DNC. We have to prenatal. If we see the condition of the patient is not good, right? We advise what? MTP. Can you
Generation
tell me what TP?
Cesarean section
pregnancy.
in some cases.
Medical
MTP means?
medical term.
Yeah, medical terminalcy of the pregnancy. Medical terminalcy of the termination of the pregnancy. When we see it's not good, it's not growing properly, it's not breathing, if the cardiac things are not going good, if the brain is not functioning properly, if the synaptic connections are not going good, the skull acquiring space is not going good, then what we understand? That the development of this child and bringing him to this world is no good. And so MTP is advised by the gynecologist. That is why it is a rule of doing ultrasound of the baby abdomen in first trimester, first semester, for first trimester, then 5 months, 6 months, seventh month, 8 month, ninth month. That is the important part we have to understand. that any type of development, if it does not take place properly, whether it is post-stroke, whether it is embolic stroke because of cardiac problem. So you see, for example, you are eating too much cold drinks and pizza and everything you are eating today, right? What happened? They are not digested by the body. So body makes the cholesterol as per its requirement, right? Now, if you eat too much of this, the cholesterol becomes high inside the body. Now, when the cholesterol is high, the low cholesterol, LDL, is high. Now, where is the problem you are going to face? You are going to face the problem in the arteries. So, if you are not walking, if you are in the bed, where are the problems you are going to face? You are going to face the problem of the DVT, deep vein thrombosis. So, the problem is of whatever is that we think the disease is only limited to the localized area. Or whatever we are eating, we don't think and eat. Hello.
Hmm.
This is called neuroplasticity of Walid. Is very careful while doing when to record, not to record. This is called neuroplasticity. That is called the skill, right? So when you train your brain for a distinct critical periods, it goes through a different critical structures, different critical development, critical process, and building critical connections inside it. And then when these connections are going on, they dislodge the unnecessary connections, right? You will always go for the necessary connections, like you do friendship only with the like-minded people. Similarly, brain pursues the unnecessary connections, and then it provides a healthy neurodevelopment, identifying potential disruptions that may contribute to various neurological and psychiatric de- development. So neuralations, formation of the neural tube, the pressure of the central nervous system. So this is the first thing from where the brain is developed is called the neural tube. Then comes the neurogenesis, rapid proliferation and migration of neurons from brain structure. And then synaptogenesis, the establishment of synaptic connections between neurons and enabling the communication. So you understand now here. So whenever we understand this, neurogenesis and synaptogenesis, that is called synaptic plasticity. The more the good synaptic connections are there, the more the neurons are developed in a better way, the better the recovery is. What we lose is the connections. You see, what we lost in COVID, we lost the connections between us. We lost the society, we lost the people connecting with us, we lost various things. And now what is our struggle? To reconnect all these things, whatever we have lost. The reconnection, the rebuilding, the reassociation is called what? Neuroplasticity. So the brain undergoes rapid growth development. Now here is the process which we understand, the key process like myelination, synaptic pursuing, the refinement, the neural circuit shapes the brain structure and function. Now if this part if we understand, then we can develop a child into a very good structure. If we give a better IQ, better growth to the child, I tell you, small children can make miracles. I told you about the children of Iberian. They have never gone to the school, but when they speak English, their grammar, and when they do drawing, pop, play. I said, sir, I don't have the courage to stand on the stage near these children. And I say, none of you people will have the courage when they draw and they speak, and the acuteness and the fineness they give. How said I allowed the child to grow by itself. I don't want them to be engineer. I don't want them to do whatever they like. Let them grow. And then I was what? Astonished that this development can take place in a child. They are so good pet lovers. They are so good. I don't know. I have no words to way explain how sir has developed this child. Maybe if I was developed in that way, I could have done much better than what I am doing today. But anyway, brain is has its own process. Brain maturation continues well into adolescence and adulthood. Cortex responsible for higher order cognition function. The last region to be fully mature. And this is what the most important part, prefrontal cortex, which is the last part to be fully mature. So it is a wise saying, night begins at 12 and life begins at 40. So prefrontal cortex goes under various stress mechanism of development. And when you come at the age of 40, this prefrontal cortex starts fully maturity. And sensitive period. The brain is a sensitive period in which the certain skills and abilities develop more rapidly. So it is said when you are at younger age, at 25 to 35, your skills are very fast and you develop it very fast. But it is not like that. I have experimented on myself in first 40s. I have developed very good skills on various things. I have done everything. It is not like whatever is said in the book is correct. It depends on individual to individual. How much you can learn, how much you can do. It all is your intention and interest. For example, my interest was to teach you, to revise you, to teach you every day. So every day I take a revision of myself. Behind my chair, there is a big board, and I keep writing every day on the board, and I speak to myself. This is what how I'm going to speak, and this is how I'm going to present myself today. So from such a big vocabulary of book, such a big development, the neurodevelopment, what we call, is such a big chapter, and we are completing it in less 44 slides or 3 classes. As per rule, it is only 9 credit hours, and I'm completing it in what? 6 credit hours. Part is time. That is why we say do not torture your child because early life experience shapes the brain architecture. So if your early life structure is not good, if your life you are dominating, you are beating the child, you are abusing the child, what will happen? The neural pathway and synaptic connection and the maturation of the key region goes in that way in which the child is developed. I have seen the young Buddhist monks. They are so compassionate, so nice, so grateful, so gratitude. When I was with the Buddhist monks and the reverends, their way of speaking is totally different. It's okay. The first thing which I've learned from Chadian sir is it's okay, Baba. Whatever you do, it's okay. Right? It's okay. Calm down. And thus the topic is over. So this is the time when you develop a cognitive skills, the problem solving skills. This is the time when we give the students to solve the puzzles, to play with the games, to solve the critical issues. This is where you build those connections. This is a place when you understand, oh, these things can be done and this can be achieved. So cognitive development takes place in the early phase of life. But even when we say at the age of 75, I have seen people are doing wonderfully good. I told you yesterday a person started learning a stock market at the age of 80 and now at the age of 44 is so perfectly predicting. We'll just go to the computer room for 10 minutes and 20 minutes after the study of the market, he will come out. And every day there is a conversation between me and him. So what is the stock market of today? He said this company for trading, these are good. For investment, this is good. And then the last question you ask, he will say, those who are traders, they will fail, and those who are investors, they will gain. So stock market is not for traders, right? It is for investors. And investment means what? The investment of time, the investment of gain, investment in knowledge.
Mm.
You are investing your time. It is not like you are getting something out of free. You are taking out of your busy schedule and you're investing it. And definitely it has a very good return. It's up to you how much return you can take. It was very good saying by Ustad Zakir Hussain. The knowledge is flowing in all directions. It is up to us how much we can take it, how much we can absorb it, and how much we can flourish from the knowledge we gain. Knowledge cannot be imprisoned, right? And then it comes the emotional resilience. That how do you emotionally resilient? कितना emotionally आप wake up कर पाते हैं अपने आप को? That is the most important part, which regulates the emotions. How too much you can control. You see, there are various IAS officers, IPS officers, IITians who have very high good IQs. They have competed at the highest levels, right? कितने लोग higher level पर जा चुके हैं? I have seen those people, right? But at the end of the day, we found they could not control their emotions. And what happened? They die. They commit suicides.
Yes.
That is why it is important for two things we must understand. What are the two things we must? Emotional maturity and emotional intelligence. There are two important aspects what we must learn from the impact of our daily life experience is the maturity we give to the children. The way we teach them how to love the animals, do not abuse the animals, don't do cruelty, no harm to the society, support each other, be in brotherhood. Then you see how the child becomes when he becomes elder. He will take care of everything. But from the childhood, we give him the video games, we give him all these things, we give all nasty things of the society, pizza, coke, everything. I saw one autistic child coming to my clinic, and I saw when I sold him chocolate, he said, no, fine. I said, cold drink. No. I offered him something mixed pakora with ketchup. No, Raju. And then I saw, wow, the development of the child is very good. Now he's studying in a normal school, being an autistic child. Other person I saw is studying in National Law University, being an autistic child. He has competed with 1,50,000 students and he's got a rank of 1,500. So things are possible. Only we made it impossible because we thought that things cannot be done. Little back, I got a phone call from a person who said spinal cord injury can be recovered or not. I'm seeing in the video. I said that the video is of the patient. You see what you are doing. You thought the patient cannot recover. You thought the patient will not recover. So what happened? Patient did not recover. Now I thought the patient will recover. All the planning for his recovery comes to my mind. What are the steps I have to take? What are the things I have to take? What are the research papers are saying? So it becomes very easy for us to understand. Now go to any AI tool and write, this is the DOI. Please explain me the summary of the paper. It becomes so easy for us to read papers. Once I read and once I asked AI to read me the paper. Now it so becomes easy. Now I know the various aspects of the things which I forgot to read in the paper. And once that I read, I understood my own aspect and then I understood AI aspect. And then again I write, please redefine the paper. Again, they wrote some another aspects of the paper. Now you see, we are three level up. We are able to analyze. And then we also write, analyze the core concept of the paper. Means what was in the inside the mind of the person who wrote this paper while writing the paper, what was going on? Why did you write? What was the research problem he faced? So when we are able to understand what was the problem he faced. For example, when I speak about cystostomy or anything about the surgery of the brain, we understand what was the problem faced by the neurosurgeon, Dr. Aicharian. He said once you remove the skull and you do brain herniation, you lose the temperature and calculation of the brain. You lose the patient is in the ICU for the longer time. So he studied what is the reason of this edema. He found out the problem is in the compression of the cistern where the CSF is moving. So if I open the cistern and I drain out the what you called mm,
Yes, sir.
edema, means the CSF fluid.
Yes, sir.
If I drain out the CSF, the swelling and the midline shift will be not there. The GCS score will improve, and the patient will be discharged. Why you the whole trauma? Question is not about the choosing of the procedure. Question it will have in the life of the person. You know why I teach for free of cost? Because it gives me a better peace and prosperity in my mind. It gives me a self-satisfaction, a solace of my life, solace to the soul, that I tried my level best to teach, to make you understand whatever I know. And also to the strangers, there is no one who is known to me, except one or two people, they know me. Why did I choose this path? Because it gives me neuroplastic changes inside my brain. And it does not stop anyone from attending the class, irrespective of anything. Everyone has a right to come here and attend the class. The class is open for all.
Yes.
So development disorders like autism, ADHD can impair the brain neural plasticity, making it difficult for the neural pathways to adapt and reorganize. This disturbs the delicate balance of sensory processing, cognition, emotional regulation. Now you understand. If you don't give a correct food, if you don't develop the child in the proper way, if proper nourishing is not there, what will happen? The challenges we face in the neuroplasticity of the brain, in adapting the good relationship, in adapting things, in adapting the higher cognition, if understanding, analyzing, and all these things, you lose it. You lose your emotional balance and you become a hyperactive. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder comes over here. So you must be very careful while you are doing, because these are developmental disorders. Walid, mute the mic. I have a phone call. Walid, mute the. That's why I say whenever you are speaking, whenever you are walking, you have to be very concerned. Like Walid is, it's very difficult, easy for me to connect with Walid because Walid knows when to pause, when to start, everything. But when a new person comes, it becomes a little difficult. Like for example, Harvinder Kaur is very well trained with me from last 5 to 6 years. She knows my behavior, approach, and attitude. So she manages me very well. Prakash Jain manages me very well, right? So it is all about the adaptation what we take. You understood? आप किस तरह से अडेप्ट होते हैं इस माहौल में? अगर आप अडेप्ट नहीं हो पाते तो आप कहाँ से कहाँ निकल जाएंगे? ब्रेन की कंट्रोलिंग कैपेसिटी कहाँ से कहाँ चली जाए? तो ये इसको स्पेक्ट्रम डिसऑर्डर बोलते हैं. क्या बोलते हैं एडीएचडी को? इट इज a spectrum disorder, right? There is no medicine for this treatment. Now behavioral classes are there, and we always rely on stem cell therapy, higher stem cell therapy. If that is possible, you can continue. If you are not possible, please discontinue. So atypical connectivity. Now, individuals with development disorders often exhibit abnormal connection between different regions of the brain. Now, you are not atypical connection, but you are not having a higher connection, right? So now, if I tell you to perform a neurosurgery, if I tell you to do certain things, you are not trained for that, right? Even I tell you to do perform NIBS for a person, non-invasive brain stimulation, because you never studied about the neural connections. You never studied about this. So what happened? So anything comes to you is just a question mark because the connections, the informations, the maps, nothing is in your hand. So you are not encouraged to do it. You see, we are having 3,000 students. Even 10% of the people don't come to the class in spite of being free. Why? Because they feel that they are not competent. They want some shortcut. I tell you, there is no shortcut in life. But spending 1 hour a day, you will get the best shortcut. Because when you have a knowledge, you have the best shortcut. You can take out all the shortcuts you want. But if you don't have the knowledge, from where will you develop the shortcut? All the information should be there. So when you go it in atypical connection, it becomes CP. The development of the body, the development of the brain, it does not happen. CP means cerebral palsy, the palsy of the brain, the paralysis inside the brain. Most of the young students, they come and say, we don't even know what does the CP means. It is the paralysis of the brain. There's deprivation of oxygen. No, the brain does not form good connections in between each other. The connections are not proper. So if there is no proper connection, the structural differences, so a lot of disorders can happen inside the body. And that is why the epilepsy and epileptic connections are built up. Patient suffers from epilepsy, delayed milestones, cerebral palsy, higher spasticity, higher what you called mm, कॉन्ट्रेक्चर सब कुछ आता है इसके अंदर। हम एक ही पद पर बैठ के रहने से नहीं होता है, समझने पड़ेगी कि भाई बेसिक्स क्या, बेसिक्स यही है कि अगर ब्रेन के अंदर डेवलपमेंट सही से नहीं हो रहा है, इधर डेवलपमेंट इज नॉट टेकिंग प्रॉपरली प्लेस, हर स्ट्रक्चर का एक दूसरे के साथ एक सब, सबका साथ सबका विकास। आई विल ऑलवेज से द मोर दिस डायलॉग ओवर हियर, जब तक सबका साथ सबका विकास नहीं होता, डेवलपमेंट विल नॉट टेक प्लेस। अगड़ा पिछड़ा सबको साथ चल के आगे चलना पड़ेगा। You understood? This is a very beautiful thing which I have learned in neuroplasticity of the brain. Sub organs, sub areas, groups, higher groups, hilly structure, the lower hilly structure, the neurons, the synaptic connections. We need the support of 1 billion neurons to develop ourselves. And each has to be well connected. We have to develop each connections in a very good way. Until we develop it in a very good way, things cannot come up all of a sudden. It will go in the wrong direction. If you don't put the things on the right direction, it will go in the wrong direction. If it goes in the wrong direction, कोई चीज गलत रास्ते पर चली गई तो पतन का कोई अंत नहीं है, पतन पतन होता जाएगा, और उसका ऐसा पतन होगा जिसका कोई अंत नहीं। पर जब अगर उत्थान की तरफ चलेगा, इफ यू गोस थ्रू, तो समत शिखर के ऊपर चला जाएगा।
Yes.
It's all up to us where we want to go. It's all your development process. You cannot blame anyone for anything happening in your life because you have developed your own origins. विधाता कुछ नहीं लिखता, विधाता आपके ऊपर कुछ नहीं लिखा, आपने अपना सारा कुछ खुद लिखा। For example, some people wanted to come and learn from me, right? I said, as per the rules, these are there. But he requested, so let two people come. I said, oh, two people are allowed. Why should I stop anyone from learning? We can request the institute, sir, one more extra person is coming. It's okay, la. So that maturity has to be understood by us. That knowledge is free. Tools have to be provided. The skills has to be given. Then only development will take place. And that is called a good neurodevelopment. Today we see lot of paralysis patients are there, lot of problems we are facing, lot of things are there. Why? Because when we go at the higher level, when we speak about the neurosurgery, we have the finest exoscope, SS scope. We don't have microscopes nowadays. Now it has been replaced with very good exoscope, SS scopes, doing good brain mapping, live navigations, intraoperative CTs. The CT will come, it will take the images, it will put on the AI, and then you can just wear the oculus, and then you can do the surgery once, twice, and then you can see everything is safe, and then you can do the surgery on the brain. So it's all about how we develop our OT. It's all about how we develop our life. Chariot developed a very difficult place, which is less than a 75,000 density. In that place, he developed one of the finest OT of India because it's all about the thoughts and kindness he had in his mind. He developed those facilities which was for the poor of the poor or to the weakest of the weak. Whenever I speak to him economically, he will say, Sastriji, we have to build something which is for the poor of the poor and weakest of the weak. And it should be affordable to those people. Now imagine we can do DBS at such a cost, very good cost, which is not available anywhere in India. We can do sleep disc surgeries in 10% of the cost what we do in Hyderabad. And because of that, many of my friends have come up. Many of my colleagues have come up to do low cost surgeries. And the finest surgeries, Pawan Iregada and all, they have been ready. That's what we said. A good step taken in time brings a good development in the society. And this society is because of your thoughts. And this thought starts from the childhoodness, the sensitivity, the childhoodness, the way you give your knowledge, and the less you abuse the child, the more the growth he gets. Am I running too fast?
No, sir.
Am I speaking too fast?
No, sir.
Or am I in
No,
the...
sir. It's okay.
No, sir.
Huh,
Yes,
sir.
It's
Okay, sir.
okay?
okay, no problem, sir.
See, I don't know how fast I'm speaking, right? You have to control my speed. The horse does not know what is the speed he is running. The one who's riding the horse knows what is the speed. It is you who have to understand, not me who has to understand. I have understood enough and I have taught enough. Now it is your duty to understand and learn from us.
Yes, sir.
But then even I say, nothing is enough, nothing is less, nothing is more. Everything has to grow in his way, in his mind, in his self. What true, sir? Mute the mic. Walid, mute it. There's a uh, neuro connections between the build. The neurobiology of ADHD is characterized by the persistent inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, which is a complex interaction between genetic and environmental factors. So we can understand this is a very difficult part to how to control it. So my first thing which I will advise the person is correct parenting. If you are not a correct parent, you cannot develop these children. In every case, what mistake we have done, हर केस में हमने एक गलती की है of the wrong parenting. We are the one who are responsible for making the person hyperactive. And so his attention is, his cannot give attention to a different person. So this action deficit because he is not able to study. He is not given to attentions. So neuro shows different brain structure and functions, particularly in regions with attention, execution, function, and impulse control. So they are highly impulsive. Do you mean what do you mean? You understand what do you mean by impulsive? Do you understand what you mean by impulsive? They get immediate the response to the impulse. कोई भी चीज देखा अति उत्साहित हो गए. You understood?
Hmm.
अति उत्साहित होना means over
Overexcited.
excited. Yeah, they become over excited. So individuals with ADHD may struggle to focus, frequently lose things, frigid activity, and have difficulty in waiting and their turn. They are always hyperactive. They don't have time to wait. They don't know what do you mean by waiting. They know, बस ये तो मेरा है. The symptoms can impair academic, social, and occupational functioning, leading to challenges in daily life. ADHD is typically diagnosed in childhood but can persist into adulthood. Treatment often includes behavior therapy, medications such as stimulants to help manage symptoms and improve functioning. Early interventions and a comprehensive approach are key to support individuals with ADHD. Now, for example, if I say one small thing, a hyperactive child is cannot think, but do you think he will continue to be that status? If you do good interventions, good behavioral therapy, if you do all these things, all this negative energy can be diverted to a positive energy. जितना आदमी का पतन हुआ उतना ही आदमी का उत्थान हो सकता है. द मोमेंट वी अंडरस्टैंड दिस थिंग will do take all necessary actions after that. But see, with a hyperactivity child, but these days we have reduced the load of hyperactivity child. You know why? Because the parents are expecting miracles and miracles and miracles. तो कब ठीक होगा मेरा बच्चा? मैंने बोला आपने आपको मालूम नहीं कब ठीक होगा. आपको मालूम है जो चीज ठीक नहीं हो सकती वो हाइपर एक्टिविटी चाइल्ड है. So these people they don't provide any holistic care. Just keep on pushing medicines, 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 beating medicines, abusiveness. Radu, the child becomes so brain becomes so disordered that it is becomes one of the most difficult thing to recover. He needs a good environment to recover. Stem cells gives good support to the recovery. But then you will see everything should change, the behavior should change, this will change, that will change. I always laugh at them. And then I say, do whatever you like. I surrender myself to your will. It is much easier to recover a patient who wants to recover, but it is not easy to recover a patient who does not want to recover. The first instinct which we understand is what does the attender want? So now you understand what are the learning disabilities. Learning disability is primarily caused by the difference in brain structure and functioning. Neuroimaging students have identified atypical patterns of brain activity, connectivity in individuals with learning disorders, particularly in regions involved in language, memory, and executive functions. So those areas like prefrontal lobe, which is responsible for language, temporal lobe, which is responsible broadcast and Bodman areas, which are responsible for language execution. The memory means the storage of the words, the vocabulary, the sentences which are speaking. These are what? The execution function. So if you ask me how Sastry was developed, I was developed because I got those environment. I got an environment working in neurosurgery, critical care. I got an environment with interactions. I got an environment with challenges. I got an environment with fighting, struggling, recovering every day, 20 hours a day you study, work, 22 hours you have to study every day, every moment you have to write, think, analyze. At the end of the day, who's benefited? Who's benefited? Bringing such a complicated thing and making it simple. Can't benefit why? Yeah. More than you, I am benefited. Because now I have been able to understand how to make a complicated thing into a simple concept. I have learned how to manage my mobile phone. I have learned how to do things. I took time, no doubt. But when I have learned it permanently. आज मुझे बहुत आसान होता है आप लोग को पढ़ाना, समझाना, देखना. कितने स्टेप्स इन्वॉल्व हैं एक पेशेंट को रिकवर करने के लिए. स्टेप 1, स्टेप 2, स्टेप 3. उसके एकेडमिक चैलेंजेस को कैसे ओवरकम कर सकते हैं. हाउ एनआईपीएस कैन हेल्प हिम इन एकेडमिक challenges. How interventions and support can take place. What is the role of RTMS? What is the role of LMTS? Live navigation transmagnetic stimulations. So that part you have to understand. Yesterday also I told, instead of writing thank you, write what you have understood. Immediately you should write. So this is what I have understood today. Then when you read after 3 days, 3 notes when you read of your own and you put it on the WhatsApp, your fear of learning will go away. Your fear of interaction will go away. And then you see how beautifully you learn things. 80% of the things you cannot learn because
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
sorry, it was disconnected. It was disconnected. Can you see the slides?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can see the slides?
Yeah, sir.
Recording in
Yes,
progress.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the slides?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes.
For example, when you ask me, Sastry, how do you analyze a problem? That is how I have asked what you called Cherian sir. So how do you analyze a problem? He says, I write the problem, I write the solutions. With every solution, I encounter another problem and then I write that solution. So I have 10 problems and 10 solutions.
Okay.
So when we see a complicated case, we write what is the problem we are facing, and then we write a solution to it. Today, one IP is coming who is having diabetic neuropathy, ear infection, pus formations, edema inside the brain, cognitive impairment, and everything is heavy. We don't know how long he will live. The second question which was asked by his child, if my father dies in between, will the amount will be refunded? The first thing what I said, I am not a dacoit. And none of us who are working here is a dacoit. You have to identify what is the fear of a patient when he comes to you. I said it bears everything. It bears the MRI, it bears the blood test, it bears the medical pharmaceutical case, it bears the room rent, it bears the DMO charges, nursing, it bears everything. Don't worry, brother. Oh, sir. Then what I have to buy extra? The sanitization paid and all. Little care, that's all. I can give you the alphabet which we have, but why do you want to put a patient on infection? For 2,500 rupees, why you want to take a risk? So all these things you have to understand. What is the fear of the person? What is the thing you are losing? So when you encounter the brain, you encounter the mind. And this is how the leaderships are developed. So now we are saying about a traumatic TBI, and it is very difficult subject which we are having. What is traumatic brain injury? When sudden trauma cause damages the brain, over resulting from fall, car accidents, and sport-related impacts. So you give a boxing over here, card. So any of you have played rocket launchers here? Have you fired rocket launchers? Anyone?
Rocket launcher.
Anyone have a opportunity to see how the rocket launchers are really fired in
No,
field?
Mm-hmm.
So I am the luckiest one to see the rocket launcher firing. And then I see a complete vibration from here to the tip toe goes, right? When you fire a rocket, there is a complete jerk. If you don't know how to manage the jerk, your shoulder will be immediately dislocated. And you cannot open your mouth.
Yes, sir.
The moment you open your mouth like this, the bleeding will start from the ears. So you cannot even say, ah. The moment you say, the bleeding will start from the nose and the ears. So this is what the greatest result with IP Cherian gave his result. Is about the traumatic brain injury. जो brain को चोट लगने के बाद जो उसके अंदर swelling आ गया brain के अंदर, right? Brain के अंदर जो swelling आ गया, जो edema आ गया. How to recover this challenge which he occurred? So what did he do? He did a very, very wonderful thing. He studied the entire concept of carnotomy and cystonostomy. He went to the basics. What creates the edema? It's a CSF fluid. Now, if I drain out the CSF fluid, there are two ways. Either I'd use the trauma flap, which was developed in St. George's Medical College, Lucknow. The trauma flap, which was developed by K.V. Mathai, late Honorable Dr. K.V. Mathai, who developed it. Trauma flap. And it was developed in St. Then the professors. Now it has become world famous. So remove and निकलने दो. And then tracheostomy, number of things it goes. And sometimes it becomes an endless process and the death is certain in ICU also. But on the other, study this trouble of the patient. Every problem which you encounter in the clinic brings a solution to it. For example, I encountered completely deficit, and no results in deficit. We tried all the best subjects which we knew. But when we studied it continuously, we studied the anatomy, the structures, and everything. We found if we stimulate it, then we studied the RTMS, then we studied live navigation transmagnetic stimulation. Now I can map the brain very easily by seeing the MRI of the scan, I can map it. Oh, if you go from this route to this route to this route to this route, the recovery will become. But the basic counseling of the patient is wrong. What is the basic counseling? The basic counseling is that, oh, the recovery should happen in 15 days, 10 days. I said, that is possible if you would have come 20 years back, because at that time, the food, the immunity, everything was very good. Now, more than the problem of the brain, we are facing more time with the infections. First, you give antibiotic, then you give probiotic, then prebiotic, then this, then that. Ayyo Rama. Little things are giving infection to the patients. You cannot sneeze near the patient. You see what is the immunity of the patient. So, when you study TBI, you must understand you are fighting a very difficult disease. I have posted one video in my Facebook where there was a very large capsulogangular hemorrhage and the flap of the bone was removed. And it was challenged to me that if this patient can recover and walk back to his life. I said, yes, he can do. He will walk back to his life. And after his recovery, we got his kerinoplasty done and he's singing. The most important part of his life I saw was able to sing. And the first song which he sang, I still remember, Kancha re, Kancha re. That much only I remember. So, when you interact with different types of capacities, different types of abilities, different types of modes, you see, we started 20 years back with one pain. And now we have defined the pains, the maps, the stimulations. We kept advancing ourselves, right? For example, I never knew how to remove these dots, right? These marks they were given. Once Varun taught me, sir, go this and then just take the rubber and then you finish it. Oh, it's so easy. Now I don't have to tell him, remove the marks. I can do it myself. So that is what happens. And once this happens, the neurodegenerative in basal ganglia neurodegenerative disorders happen. The white matter degeneration, the gray matter degeneration, the sensory input and the processing output. Right? Because you have to gather the information. अब एक information लेते हैं, right? उस information को process करना पड़ता है. It is called processor. What we use a central processing unit in the mobile. You just give some input. 2 into 2 क्या होता है? You give an input 2 into 25. How much? The calculator gives 2 into 25 is 50. So you have to train that part into that way. You have to make that calculator in that way. This was a very beautiful thing. I met one person, Stapan. He solves the problem in just two equations. I told, how did you derive that mathematical ability? He said, my father used to try my hand on the back and used to tell me to solve the problem. And lastly, he developed that capacity that by just seeing the algorithm, he finds a solution in his brain. And he said it's just one line solution. But on the other hand, the professor used to write such a big algorithm to find one solution. So it's all up to you. How do you develop yourself? Your capacity is inside you. So TBI and all this has a remarkable ability to reorganize itself, known as offers for recovery of the cell. Ongoing research explores the harness of neuroplasticity and functional improvement of the patient. This is what I have written in my stem cell therapy book. Every time people were saying it is not written in the textbook, it is not written in the textbook. So I wrote two textbooks. What are the two textbooks I have written? Navigating the neurological disorders after post neurosurgical surgeries, post neurosurgical cases in the brain. You develop neurological disorders, right? Which leads to psychiatric disorders. And what happens inside the brain during this formation, from neurological to TBI to all this, I have written. And then I have written another thing in my stem cell therapy book that yes, by stem cell therapy, things can improve in a better way. You can improve the quality of life. You can give them a better life, better approach. You can work with speech fascias. Not be in all the cases, but in many cases it happens. Classification of the cases, acceptance and rejection, all is with you. So strokes we have already spoke, they are called CVAs because they happen inside the brain. It is of classified of two parts, ischemic and hemorrhagic. So when the clot is combined, when there is a clot inside the brain, the blood circulation, for example, this is the artery, right? These are the arteries, right? So now this is a clot over here. So 1 minute, I'm trying to learn something, right? Yeah, please mute your mic. I'll change the color. How to change the color? Who is doing all these things unnecessary? Childish people. You see, if there is a clot, I have developed one clot here, right? So now the blood circulation does not go from this area to this area, right? Here is a clot. So the blood circulation does not go from this area to this area. It's called what? Ischemic stroke. But now if there is a bleed here, if I rupture this artery, or if I rupture this artery, right? Cut. So the blood circulation is on the surface of the brain and it destroys the tissues. It is called hemorrhagic stroke. Who's using the pain unnecessary? So cerebrovascular diseases, disorder like atherosclerosis, heart disease can restrict the blood flow to the brain, increasing the risk of strokes and other neurological complications. See, if you keep drawing, I'll restrict you from the class. I don't like people doing here and there. You're confusing the audience. And so the most important part is the prompt. If you have a brain stroke, hemorrhagic, or any other thing, uh, that is why we say we need to have a lot of support of the radiologists. We have to seek regular 2D echo. We have to see lot of vascular damages. Why? We have to see all these things so that we can understand where is the damage, where is the problem, where is the solution. You see, again, someone is drawing. Who is drawing this, all these things? And I don't know what are you finding enjoyment in disturbing the class. It really shows your what you call.
I think they are trying to enlarge the photo.
Wow. What you are going to do? The topic is very simple. That there are two types of stroke. The cardiovascular diseases can restrict the blood flow to the brain, right? And because of that, you may have what ischemic stroke inside the brain. So whenever you are treating an orthopedic case, whenever you are treating any other cases, you have to be very careful that you're working with DVTs, you're working with this. So what we do at home care or any other care, we don't take care of any other things. We don't work with the team. Why? Why it is not going down? Mhm. So now if you don't take care of yourself, you do not take care of the disease at this stage, when it has to recover, and you take wrong decisions one after another, what will happen? Who will suffer? For example, you don't understand the G lymphatic process. Amyloid beta protein and tau protein, one is intracellular, one is extracellular. What is inside the cell, one is extra out of the cell. What will happen? For example, I don't recognize the services of Wali, then I don't respect him. What will happen? He will stop supporting me. Once the brain organs stop supporting you, the brain areas stop supporting you, there is a lesion in it. And what happens in that lesion? Today or tomorrow, you are going to suffer. For example, when I take classes, when things happen, my food diet is not very good. So what happened? My sugar falls down. So what I did to find an instant solution of my problem, I start taking one or two sip of what? Some beverages. But if I make a habit of drinking it all the time for the taste of my tongue, what will happen? It will destroy my health. But now I'm taking only for in hypoglycemia, where you see my blood glucose was very high. Similarly, when we speak about the disease, we must understand how the disease will progress. If I don't check my blood diabetes at that time, if I do not have restricted, today I would have been a high diabetic patient with insulin. My glycemic index HbA1c was around 9 or 10 at that time, and today it is less than 5. People saw told this cannot help. I said this everything can help. Only you know how to recover it. Alzheimer's can definitely help. With the help of BPAP, with the help of NIBS, Alzheimer's can be helped. But how many people are willing to get help? How many people are ready to solve? All that is a big question. We don't want our patient to be treated, but if we treat, we need higher expectations. We don't want to learn. The moment I ask money for the class, oh, your expectation is very high. Make me the master of paralysis. I want to get enlightenment. Oh, Papa. You do not know how to perform. You're losing your ability to understand every person in your life. Who are you? You are about to forget everything. During that part, you will try to sustain everything or you will try to imagine lot of things. This is the problem we are facing in Alzheimer's. The patient is losing all these short-term memories and then long-term memories. So what are we doing? We are doing nothing. We are just observing that. They don't take one step ahead. इमरान बच्चे का होमवर्क कर रहे हो या केस स्टडी लिख रहे हो हम्म? इमरान
आप सर आप जो बोल रहे हो वो लिख रहे सर कुछ कुछ
मैं बोल रहा हूँ वो लिख रहा है मुझे डाउट है बेटा तुम बच्चे का होमवर्क कर रहा होगा
नहीं नहीं सर।
मनी जाके चेक करना उसकी कॉपी किताब में क्या लिखा है उसमें। बच्चे का नोट्स बना रहा होगा। इमरान, इमरान को मैं आज से 8 साल से जानता हूँ, आज तक तो नोट्स नहीं लिखा, अब क्या लिखेगा। इमरान मुस्तफा, हाँ।
जी सर।
So neurodegeneration, already I spoke about that. There are certain proteins which destroys the neurons which develops what? Parkinson. Now Parkinson's is classified into many classifications. What are the classifications of Parkinson's? बताओ पार्किंसन का क्लासिफिकेशंस क्या क्या है, बताओ। यस, इमरान चलो बताओ, नोट्स लिख रहे थे ना, बताओ पार्किंसन का क्लासिफिकेशन क्या है।
सर वेस्कुलर एंड मोटर।
अरे कहेगा वास्कुलर एंड मोटर, कहाँ से आ गया वास्कुलर, कहाँ से आ गया मोटर। Parkinson's classifications are into 5 types classification. What are they? Parkinson's, where the dopamine is generated, not transferred. Advanced Parkinson's, where dopamine is generated but not transferred. One is with less generation of dopamine. One is generation but not transferred. Right? Parkinsonism में क्या होता है? Dopamine is made but not is less made. उसका डाइट कम हो जाता है. राइट? पार्किंस डोपामिन का डाइट कम हो
कम हो
जाता
जाता
है.
है।
Deprivation of dopamine, it becomes like diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is type 2 diabetes of सब्सटेंशिया निग्रा. जो पार्किंसन डोपामिनेटिक सेल्स है वहां डोपामिन कम बनाते हैं, तो ये टाइप 2 डायबिटीज ऑफ सब्सटेंशिया निग्रा, यानी द बेटा सेल्स विच प्रोड्यूसेस इंसुलिन विथ excessive and wrong lifestyle to develop what? Environmental disease. So Parkinson in 80% of the cases is environmental. If you make the gut study, you make all these studies, gut का regulations अगर आप स्टडी करें, ये सब स्टडी करें, तो आपको मिलता है पार्किंसन का जन्म कहाँ होता है, बताइए। उसकी जन्मदात्री कहाँ है?
गट में।
हाँ बिल्कुल सही कहा। बट गट को बर्बाद किसने किया?
हम लोगों ने।
अरे तुम लोगों के बाप ने, लीवर ने। लीवर को बर्बाद किसने किया? तुम्हारी जीभ ने, तुम्हारी सोच ने। इसलिए कहते हैं जैनिज्म में, इस्लाम में, संयममय जीवन मिला मिलेगा इससे सबको आध्यात्मिक अवदान, प्रभु ये तेरा पंथ मा। This is how your feelings develop. That you want to go a higher goal, you want to go to a lower goal. So eat everything like Imran. 9 महीने का पेट लेके घूमेगा, चिकन बिरयानी, चिकन ये, और वो क्या बोलता है, डब्ल्यू दिखा रहा है, ये देखो यू WWF चैंपियन। अब बाद में 50 साल के बाद हमारी हॉस्पिटल में आएगा, सर घुटने का दर्द हो रखा है, कमर बदल गई, हाँ, स्लीप डिसीज सब लेके आएगा। अभी खाओ बाद में धो। धो मतलब पहले
बियर
आप
के।
ऐसा करो और बाद में उसको धोना पड़ेगा। ढोना पड़ेगा मतलब उसको बीमारियों के साथ
सहना पड़ेगा।
सहना पड़ेगा, जीना पड़ेगा, मरना पड़ेगा, रोज रोज रोना पड़ेगा। इसके लिए फिर शास्त्री जी के पास आना पड़ेगा। सेविंग्स रखो इमरान, थोड़ा पैसा बचा के रखो, मेरे पास आना पड़ेगा। ना बोलने से नहीं होगा, या तो मोटापा कम करो, या फिर देखो इमरान कैसे ना कर रहा है, यूं ना कर रहा है जैसे कि इसके गर्दन में स्पॉन्डिलाइटिस हो गई हो। हम्म। So hallmark symptoms, the bradykinin is the slowness of the movement, rigidity, and postural instability. These are the main things. So what I said, Parkinson's, advanced Parkinson's, idiopathic Parkinson's, injury-induced Parkinson's, drug-induced Parkinson's, right? कितने आ गए? 6-7, तो ये क्लासिफिकेशन हो गया। कोई ड्रग मेडिसिन खा रहे उसके कारण पार्किंसन हो गया, कोई न्यूरोलॉजिकल डिसऑर्डर, अदर न्यूरोलॉजिकल डिसऑर्डर जो बोलते हैं, ट्रोमेटिक ब्रेन इंजुरी, सीवीए, ब्रेन स्ट्रोक, उसको अच्छे से ट्रीटमेंट नहीं होने के कारण पार्किंसन हो गया। बहुत सारी ऐसी दवाएं जिसके कारण ड्रग इंड्यूस पार्किंसन हो गया। यहाँ हैदराबाद में एक बहुत फेमस हॉस्पिटल है, नीलोफर हॉस्पिटल, जो उसके फॉर्मर चीफ डायरेक्टर थे। उन्होंने एक मेडिसिन को कंटिन्यू करते रहा 5 साल तक। उसके बाद उनको क्या हुआ? पार्किंसन हो गया। इफ यू कंटिन्यू डायजापाम फॉर ए लॉन्ग टाइम, you will have tinnitus. Ultimately, the best problem of the solution is to go towards the nature. Anything which is deviating from the nature, Professor Kazadi, the chief neurosurgeon from Zimbabwe, taught me one beautiful sentence: you pull it, and the nature will take care of it. And that is the best definition I give for an idea. All the factors are against you. All the neural connections are against you. Right? When you define paralysis and functional disability, न्यूरो डिजेनरेशन, सब कुछ आपके अगेंस्ट में, ब्रेन सारा आपके अगेंस्ट में, पूरा विद्रोह हो चुका है। पर विद्रोह की शांति तो करो, शांति का पाठ तो करो। ओम देव हो शांति, पृथ्वी शांति, सदा पाया है शांति। न्यूरॉन्स को शांत तो करो। You have to create a peaceful environment. You have a peaceful TT inside the brain. Instead of having peaceful TT, you excite it. उसमें और घी डाल रहे हो आग के अंदर, और उल्टा सीधा खिला रहे हो, और मोबाइल दे रहे हो, और कलर्स दे रहे हो, ब्लू कलर, पिंक कलर्स, रेड कलर्स, येलो कलर्स। सुभान अल्लाह, माशाअल्लाह, आप ऐसा कर देते हो ब्रेन का कि शब्बा रहे खैर करे इस ब्रेन की। सो पीपल, व्हाट हैपेंस इन पार्किंसंस, दे थिंक दैट only medicine is the treatment, right? So we start with Syndopa and Syndopa plus BD twice a day or thrice a day, with levodopa, carbidopa once a day. But in many cases, it is reactive, and then we forget that the patient's dose should not increase, the quality of the life should increase. But again, we try to always our comfort zone. हम क्या में चले जाते हैं? When we go to our own comfort zone, we find that the progression of the disease is more and more improving. Taking 2 tablets is much easier than to cooperate with the physiotherapist to do NIPS, to do this and to this. They are thinking 2 tablets are easy. So today's shortcut is tomorrow's what? Long cut. जिंदगी की चादर और चाहत में हम भूल ही गए कहां से कहां चले गए। इसके लिए गाना था, हाय सारे सपने कहीं खो गए, हाय ये क्या से क्या हो गए। मैं कल आईसीयू में गाना गा रहा था, एक पेशेंट के पास जाके बोले, क्या हाय सिगरेट पिया जवानी में, और ये क्या से क्या हो गए, एक हाथ खो दिया वो जवानी में, अब लैपटॉप का क्या से क्या हो गए, इतनी इंजीनियरिंग पड़ी दिमाग लगा के, सिगरेट के धुओं के साथ ये स्ट्रोक हो गया। चलो जो भी हो, टूटा फूटा गाना है, जो भी हो, गा गए, मैं तो आ गया। बैजन बोला, अब क्या होगा? हमारा यही होगा जो आपने इसको सोचा। सारे सपने कहीं खो गए, हाय हम क्या से क्या हो गए। For example, I don't like Coca-Cola, but I saw my glycemic index is going very bad. I was sweating at the end of the class. I was having tremors. Then I learned, oh, the low sugar is there. Day before yesterday, when I came out from the class, my blood sugar was around 60. I was not able to stand up from the seat. I said, what to do now? I had my mobile next to me. I immediately ordered, which is Swiggy's nearest order. I ordered and Coke, and I kept it on my table. So I decided during the class, I'll take only 10 ml or 15 ml. That's all. Not more than that.
As a medicine.
Yeah, 10 ml to 15 ml is okay because you use lot of energy while you teach, right? Use 600 calories, but you are putting only 100 calories or 200 calories. What will happen? So that is what you have to understand in Parkinson's disease and every disease. So the most important part is three things we have to understand. What is the diagnostic applications we have? The diagnostic neurological psychiatric disorder, advanced imaging techniques like PET-CT, functional MRI. In psychiatric cases, psychoanalysis tests are there. What are the Bhatia's test card, Rosas test cards, right? So when you see all these things, what do you understand? That you have to target the what kind of interventions will recover the patient. Now, this intervention should be personalized, and this is where we understood why NIBS was important because it gives a targeted interventions. It helps supports the physiotherapy. It does not give any contradictions. It is safe, sound, and applicable to the patients. Whether it's a Parkinson's, whether it's a neurodevelopment, it is a CP child. In all the cases, it is developed. And preventive strategies. So all the preventive strategies like diet restrictions, healthy exercise, yoga, pranayam, all this helps what? The recovery. So you see such a big chapter. I made a very small chapter by giving a beautiful understanding the complications of the brain architecture. If you don't take care of the structure, tomorrow you will face the problems. Today you take one wrong step, tomorrow you will face the problem. It's just
Yes.
like a partnership deed. You did not study and you signed a partnership deed in the good faith. What will happen? Last में
Problem.
Laddu Ram, Gopal Ram.
Problem creates.
Yeah, that is what I say. Last, you'll find Laddu Ram, Gopal Ram. So before you take any initiative steps, your knowledge about the architecture, the definitions, the diseases, also be clear what you are doing. That is what I have understood in my life. What is the most important thing I've understood in my life, an experience which I want to share with you is what is the problem and what is the solution I have, and how far this solution is going to help, and what are the other problems I'm going to face. So what did I do? I created a team. Now having a problem with the respiratory doctor, call a respiratory doctor. If you have a problem with the brain, you call the brain specialist. Whatever I am doing, I don't defocus myself. And to go more deep inside brain mapping, so I don't disturb myself. But if I want to disturb myself, I can disturb myself with so many things. It's up to us where we want to go. Your definition of journey is up to you. How much excellence you want to develop in yourself. Now you imagine, you cannot write two lines of what you have learned. How will you treat the patient? Hmm? It's very easy for us to understand what you have done, what you have learned. But I'm sure one day you will understand the impact of learning. The impact of learning is to create a better dynamic connections inside the brain to overcome the situations. Why Power's father has gone through septicemia? And there is a very beautiful singer from Bihar, Kokila, Bihar ki Kokila, I forgot her name. Anyone is from Bihar? Anyone here from Bihar? No. The whole India is not here. Huh? I thought everyone from India is there. So there is a very beautiful singer. She recently died. And on the death, Sarda Sinha, right? Very good. Sachin Chawla. This Sarda Sinha, a very beautiful singer. But she died out of what? She died of septicemia. Why septicemia was developed? Because of UTI, current UTI infections. After giving antibiotic, did we took the remedial expressions to recover the body? No. Our answer is only explanation and justification. Our explanation is not of recovery. We have hold everything very tight like this in the grip. The money, the knowledge, our skills, everything, the patience, everything we are trying to grip. And at the end of the day, it's just like a water. You put the water in your hand and you tie it hard. It will fall down better. Nothing is in your hand. Nothing is in your hand. It is just your dream and illusion that have gripped the water. Arre beta, when you open your hands, you will see there is no water inside. It has gone out. You are living in an illusionary world with only your imaginations. If I speak, what others will think? Arre, 90% of the people have no time to think. They come to the group, read messages, and immediately they push out. Arre, don't have time. Only you have time to think about others, what they are thinking about you. I don't think when I speak here. I know the recordings will go from here to Harvard to Stanford. When I upload my videos, I don't know how much it has been viral in America, Istanbul, Turkey, to many countries they have been, Italy. Who will say what? I don't care. I said, where is my hanky? I don't care. This is a beautiful sentence I learned in my childhood. Where is my hanky? I don't know. And I say today, where is my hanky? I don't care. And all those who are without the video, all the attendance is cut. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 people are present in the class. Rest all are absent.
सर
Ah.
वो आप बोलते थे ना मेरे मन को भाया मैंने
अरे वो तो पुरानी बात है।
कुत्ता
आप तो
काट के
पुराने
खाया
डायलॉग it was in Nagaland. Actually, I was very much close with the Naga outfits. So they used to capture the people. So they used to capture some good civilians, right? The notable politicians. So I had a very good relations with them. So in Nagaland, there is a very wide saying. Kutta means dog, right? So you say in Nagamese, मेरे मन को भाया मैं काट के खाया. And when I used to, they call it hot dogs, right? So when I used to go to them and I used to say, see, 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 don't give me all your food and your utensils. You cook everything in the world and you are giving me. I am a pure Vaishnavite. See, I was so strong to my work and words. They were bound to respect me. You know that? So whenever I used to go to them, they used to respectfully talk to me. And I used to talk to them like a normal friend. And at the end of the day, I used to just finish the conversation in 2 lakh or 3 lakh rupees. Okay, finish it. Sastri ji, jo man mein aaye kar do, yaar, nakki karo, topic over. This is what we have developed called the relationship with Wolfas. The chairman of Wolfa was so good with me. Then lastly he used to say, शास्त्री जी जो मन में आए करके नक्की करो बस हो गया बात खत्म खाना खाओ मैं आपका खाना मैं नहीं खाता इसमें हमने मुर्गी खाया टांग खाई मैं जैनी आदमी मैं नहीं खाता the best thing I have learned in my life when I go to uh, uh, Indonesia, France or Italy, I only say I am a Jaini. I don't eat all these things although I'm not a Jain. But the best way to get rid of all this food is what? I say I am a Jain. Topic over. You will get all the good food.
क्यों sir?
I'm a pure vegetarian. So I just take the one very simple what I say wherever I go. In France also, if I go, there is called a Jain food. So I say I am a Jain. So they will say what to give you? क्या दे आपको खाने के लिए? तो आंसर आएगा सर एक ऑरेंज काट के दे दो और एक चावल दे दो ऑरेंज का रस निचोड़ के वो खाना खा लेंगे and this is how I lived in France. My life was very easy in Italy and Indonesia because they don't know how to cook potatoes and also very simple. चावल को नींबू निचोड़ो नमक लगाओ और खाना खा लो. So if you make your life complicated with complicated directions, you go in a complicated way. And when you make your life simple in simple directions, you can enjoy your life everywhere in the world. This is what Prakash ji and me did. We enjoyed around 10 years of our life, 12 years altogether. And today I tell you, it's so easy for me to teach neuroplasticity, Parkinson, brain mapping, difficult cases, coma. I just used to say in the paralysis, सर ये क्या हो गया सारे सपने कहीं खो गए हाय ये क्या से क्या हो गए यू सी इट इज अप टू यू हाउ यू डिस्ट्रेस द पेशेंट एक फाई मारे बोला अरे फाई मारो हाँ सर मैं तो यहाँ पैरालिसिस हो रखा हूँ आपको फाई की पड़ी भाड़ में जाए तेरा पैरालिसिस तेरी पैरालिसिस की ऐसी की तैसी तेरी माँ की आंख हुआ तो ठीक हो जाएगा हाई फाई तो मारो सर आप पहले आदमी है आके जो बोलते हाई फाई मार तो मैं दूसरा आदमी होऊंगा क्या आई एम हैप्पी आई ओनली वन एमके शास्त्री बिकॉज आई नो पैरालिसिस इज इजी टू रिकवर देयर इज नथिंग कॉम्प्लिकेशन यू ओनली मेड एवरीथिंग कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सब चीज को आपने ही कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बना रखा खाने को कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बना रखा है नमाज को कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बना रखा है अल्लाह का नाम को कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बना रखा है इधर उधर की तरबीज बना के रखी है सब कुछ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड बना रखा है और सबसे सिंपल क्या है उसका नाम लेना chanting his name is the simplest thing, but you made it so complicated ritual कि आप रिचुअल में फंस गए उसके नाम को भूल गए है ना अब पंडित जी के चक्कर में पड़ गए मौलाना के चक्कर में पड़ गए अपने अल्लाह के चक्कर में नहीं पड़े the moment you understand the stimulation the synaptic connection the neural connection the inbuilt connection the G lymphatic system you will find oh brain is the easiest thing to recover for example a person comes with radiculopathy I just say go to the NCV nerve we identify which nerve it is and then we give oh this nerve go to the roots and go to the peripheral lesion मतलब जहां उसके रूट्स है वहां में ब्लॉक मारो और जहां उसका रूट है पूरे उस रूट के ऊपर जितने ट्रिगर पॉइंट्स है उसे प्रोलोथेरेपी मार दो या पीएनआईटी मार दो टॉपिक ओवर पेशेंट शांत बिकॉज द फायरिंग ऑफ द नर्व इज टू बी रिड्यूस हमारे पास खाली कचरा आता है बट इस कचरे को सफा करते करते हम सफाई कर्मचारी बन गए तो मैं हमेशा अपने क्लिनिक में एक बात बोलता हूँ स्वच्छ भारत अभियान इस क्लास का भी नाम मैंने दे रखा है स्वच्छ भारत अभियान अब आप पूछोगे ये स्वच्छ भारत अभियान कहां से आया तो मैंने बोला जी लिम्फेटिक सिस्टम से द ड्रेनेज एंड द स्विच ऑफ द ब्रेन हैज टू बी क्लीन आपके दिमाग की जितनी गंदगी है सीएसएफ के थ्रू अगर क्लीन होकर निकल गई तो आप उस ओंकार को पा जाओ ओंकार को पाना परमात्मा को पाना नहीं पाना हायर स्किल्स को अचीव करना नहीं करना कुछ भी करना नहीं करना सब आपके हाथ और फिर आप क्या करते हो जस्टिफिकेशन देते हो चलो हमने जस्टिफिकेशन सुन लिया फिर फायदा क्या हुआ सुनने के बाद सर आपने ऐसा बोला था ठीक है मैंने ऐसा बोला इससे आपको फायदा क्या हुआ मैंने तो ये बोला था कि स्ट्रक्चर को ठीक से स्टडी करो कॉग्निटिव फंक्शंस को स्टडी करो चीजों को बेसिक्स को समझ लो तो एडवांस समझने में कोई तकलीफ ही नहीं होगी आज पार्किंसन समझ में आ गया भाई एक सब्सटेंशिया निकला है और एक गट है चलो दोनों को ठीक ठाक करो ब्रेन को ब्रेन स्टिमुलेशन से ठीक करो गट को गट से ठीक करो डाइट रिस्ट्रिक्शन करो प्रोबायोटिक्स दो गट इन्फेक्शन को कंट्रोल करो पार्किंसन में इंप्रूवमेंट आता दिखेगा, पर आप क्या करते हो, पार्किंसन की डोज बढ़ाते जाते हो। न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट के पास जाते हो, वो बेचारा क्या करे, आज 2 गोली लिखा, फिर देखेगा सिम्टम्स बढ़ गए, 3 गोली लिख दिया, फिर लिखेगा 4 गोली, फिर लिखेगा पार्किन, फिर लिखेगा कार्बिटोपा लेविटोपा। सर लास्ट में 2 गोली से चालू हुए, हम 15 गोली तक पहुंच गए, 15 टैबलेट्स एट ए टाइम, इमेजिन। और फिर मैं हमेशा यही गाता हूँ, सब सपने कहीं खो गए, तुमने हाल क्या से क्या कर दिया। तुम लोग पैरालिसिस को ट्रीट करते हो और ग्रेट फोर्स पॉसिबिलिटी पे लाके मुझे छोड़ देते हो। आई हैव ट्रीटेड टुडे, आई विल अपलोड वन वीडियो of a 72-year-old man was treated in the best hospitals of Bangalore. St. John's Hospital. He was treated in Manipal Hospital, Neemhans, best hospitals of India. If you say he was treated there, right? They are the top 10 hospitals in India. He was treated, and they could not reduce his spasticity to one angle. Also, hip and joint was totally flexion and extension was absent. And today we made the patient walk and we made him discharged. And then his wife is saying, "I'll take care. I want to go home." Okay, go home. After 60% of recovery, we wanted to push it back straight, right? But then the wife was saying, "No, no, I want to go home." Ultimately, when the wife will be on the bed, who will take care of the husband? When the autistic child will go at the age of 70 years, when you will become of 65 years, and the autistic child is of 40 years, who will take care of the autistic child? कभी आपने सोचा है कि जीवन की कड़ी में अगर हम पीछे छूट गए तो सामने वाले का क्या होगा? इसमें खाली एक ही चीज सोचे है, राम राम जपना पराया मल अपना, जितना अपना मन बना लो उतना अपना। सो दिस इज नॉट द करेक्ट थॉट। ईश्वर आपके साथ है, एंड सच्चे रास्ते पे चलो, अच्छा काम करो, अच्छी बुनियाद रखो, गिव ए गुड फाउंडेशन। यू सी आई एम टीचिंग फॉर फ्री, व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट आई एम गेटिंग? बट इफ यू सी आई एम गेटिंग a large number of benefits. I am teaching variety of people with variety of skills, variety of knowledge. One side homeopathy, other side allopathy, one is from a cardiology, one is सुजोग। सबको एक साथ पढ़ाना, सबके दिमाग में वो बात उतारना, यू सी इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट। एंड सबसे
Yes, sir.
बड़ी बात है कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सब्जेक्ट को पढ़ाना, दैट इज द ब्रेन, जिसके पास खुद ही साला महाभारत है, 100 बिलियन न्यूरॉन्स के साथ 700 ट्रिलियन कनेक्शन लेके बैठा है। लो भाई, इतने तो पैसे भी नहीं देंगे, इतने जीरो भी नहीं आते। 100 बिलियन न्यूरॉन के साथ 700 ट्रिलियन कनेक्शन, ट्रिलियन में कितने जीरो होते ये भी नहीं मालूम, और उस सब्जेक्ट को मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ। आई वाज जस्ट लाफिंग विच इडियट, सर कौन सा सब्जेक्ट पढ़ाने भेज दिया? हाँ, एक सब्जेक्ट विच इज हाईएस्ट नंबर ऑफ सिनेप्टिक कनेक्शंस, एंड जहाँ सब कुछ रैप्चर हो गया, वेयर एवरीथिंग इज डैमेज, यू आर आस्किंग मी टू रीबिल्ड द इंस्टीट्यूशन, एंड दैट इज व्हाट ही सेड। शास्त्री जी, दिस इज व्हाट द चैलेंज यू हैव टू फेस फॉर द, जब सब कुछ बर्बाद हो गया फिर उसको आबाद करना, when everything is finished and then you try to regrow it, उसी को स्प्रिंग बोलते हैं शास्त्री जी। एंड कुकू स्प्रिंग बर्ड में ही आती, द कुकू बर्ड, द नाइटिंगेल बर्ड सिंग्स ओनली इन द स्प्रिंग, नॉट इन द विंटर सीजन। और जब विंटर आया तो स्प्रिंग जरूर आएगा शास्त्री, फाइट फॉर द स्प्रिंग एंड देन द समर विल कम। सो द स्ट्रोक इज विंटर, एंड विंटर जाते क्या आता है, स्प्रिंग, सारी तरफ सब बर्बाद हो गया विंटर में, सारे पत्ते झड़ गए, पतझड़ हो गया ऑटम में। स्प्रिंग सब बर्बाद, दिसंबर में सब बर्बाद हो गया, बट जब फरवरी आता है सब बहाल हो जाता है, कुकू आती है, चिड़िया चहकती है, फूल गुलिस्ता में खिलते हैं, है ना, गुलिस्ता बोलते हैं ना, शकील गुलिस्ता बोलते हैं ना उर्दू में, अपना शकील गार्डन को क्या बोलते हैं
गुलिस्तान
उर्दू में?
गुलिस्तान
हाँ, शकील से पूछ रहा हूँ
गुलिस्तान
भाई, वो शकील से पूछ रहा हूँ, शकील, मेरे को देखने से क्या होगा, शकील क्लास में है कि नहीं पता तो चले।
गार्डन
शकील
मतलब
जी बताइए,
यस सर।
उर्दू में गार्डन को क्या बोलते हैं?
सर बाग बोलते
गुलिस्तान
हैं, बाग।
बोलते हैं?
आई
बाग
डोंट नो
बागीचा।
उर्दू सर।
वो तो हिंदी में बोलते हैं, आप उर्दू की बातें
उर्दू है लेकिन
करो।
सर वो।
बाग
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 नहीं बोलते, बाग
बाग
उर्दू में नहीं बोलते बेटा, बाग तो हिंदी का उपभ्रंश है।
ओके सर।
बिहार में जब जाते हो तो उसका उपभ्रंश मिलता है मैथिली असम में, बाग।
बागीचा।
बाकी चाहे हिंदी में आता है,
फूल भरे
उर्दू होता है
बागीचे को गुलिस्तान कहते
गुलिस्तान।
हैं।
उर्दू में गुलिस्तान आता है बेटा।
फूल भरे बागीचे को गुलिस्तान कहते
बागीचा, बागीचा उपभ्रंश में आ गया, लोकल लैंग्वेज।
अच्छा 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 अच्छा।
देखो तुमसे उर्दू मैंने अच्छी सीखी।
जी।
रोज गालिब को सुनो, उर्दू सीख जाओगे। This is how I
गुलिस्तान।
learned Bengali. You know how did I learn Bengali? From
कैसे
रविंद्र
सर?
संगीत।
अच्छा
रविंद्र संगीत से मैंने बंगाली सीखा।
अच्छा।
रोज रविंद्र संगीत सुनते रहता था बंगाली में, उसको सुनते सुनते मुझे बंगाली आ गई।
मैंने तो नहीं है रविंद्र संगीत।
अब मैं कन्नड़ सीख रहा हूँ, एंड कन्नड़ सीखने के बाद आई विल बी ट्राइंग टू लर्न, आई एम ऑल्सो लर्निंग पंजाबी।
मलयालम।
కొంచెం కొంచెం తెలుగు వస్తుంది। కొంచెం కొంచెం भोजपुरी अच्छी आती है, मैथिली सीख ही रहा हूँ।
Sir, are you from sir?
हाँ,
Are you from sir? आप कहाँ
क्या
आसाम।
से सर?
कहे?
आप कहाँ
आसाम।
के?
मैं
हाँ।
मैं जहाँ की खाओ रोटी, वहां की बजाओ चाकरी, जहाँ की खाओ बाजरी, वहां की बजाओ हाजरी। मैं अब हैदराबाद का हूँ तो हैदराबादी कहलाऊंगा।
अच्छा, तेलुगु
हैदराबाद।
तेलुगु है सर आप?
मैं उर्दू तो नहीं हूँ, पर उर्दू का शायर जरूर बन रहा हूँ, आजकल उर्दू में शायरी सीख
तेलुगु
रहा
है
हूँ।
सर आप? सर तेलुगु है आप?
नहीं सर
तेलुगु
आसामी।
రాదు బాబా, హిందీ ఇంగ్లీష్ చెప్పండి। So today we understood the way we develop the brain will develop. इसको जिस तरह ले जाओ उस तरह से चला। People were saying there are some hidden chapters which we don't know. So I said it's okay. I write a book on that. I did my hard work and I came and I said, we can work, we can do, and we can recover. क्योंकि रास्ता मालूम नहीं था, जब रास्ता पता चल गया, वास्को ड गामा बन जाओ, तो अपने आप अमेरिका और इंडिया की खोज हो जाए। अब घर बैठे अमेरिका सोचोगे, अमेरिका मिल जाए, मैप्स मिल जाए, वो तो पॉसिबल नहीं है। एनी क्वेश्चन फॉर द डे? एनीवन वांट्स टू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन?
Sir, good evening, Dr. Pandian.
वन
And
मिनट। हेलो, हाँ यस, हाँ हाँ नमस्कार। आई स्टार्टेड स्पीकिंग, नाउ आई एम एबल टू स्पीक, आई एम एबल टू स्पीक तेलुगु। व्हाट्सएप में हाई बोलो, एड्रेस पंपिस्ता, विल गिव यू द एड्रेस। नरवंडी नरो, आई एम लर्निंग उड़िया। यू सी अनदर फॉर, हेलो, हेलो, हेलो। वरुण की वाइफ का फोन आया, क्लास बंद करो। वरुण वाइफ हैज कॉल्ड मी, सर क्लास बंद करो, वरुण को खाना खाना है। मेरे को ये पता नहीं वरुण और शकील की वाइफ और गर्लफ्रेंड मेरे को फोन क्यों कर रहे हैं।
सर आज मेरे बेटे का जन्मदिन है।
आपका जन्मदिन है
बेटे का
तो
सर।
विश यू। और बेटे का जन्मदिन है इसलिए आपकी वाइफ ने फोन किया। चलो भाई, आपकी बेटे को बहुत बहुत जन्मदिन की शुभकामनाएं। वी प्रे ऑल ऑफ यू बिफोर लिविंग द क्लास। वेर इज माई मौलवी साहब? मौलवी साहब कहाँ गए? क्या नाम है उनका? वालिद साहब, वालिद।
Yes, Sastry ji.
हाँ, वरुण सन इज हैविंग ए बर्थडे एंड प्रे फॉर एवरीवन। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम, वाहे बरकतुल्लाह वाहे
Who is having a
रहमतु।
birthday, sir?
Yeah, his Varun's son is having a birthday.
Birthday?
Pray for him and pray for everyone, and we'll be happy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya
Inshallah.
Allah, Ya Rahim, Ya
Bismillah
Kareem.
ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Ya Wahe Ramallah, Wahe Barakatuh.
Bismillah ar-Rahman
Yeah,
ar-Rahim.
continue, please.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا حي يا قيوم يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا بادئ السماوات والأرض يا غفور رحيم يا مؤمن يا مهيمن يا متكبر. Ya Allah, we thank you for this day and for all your blessings. We thank you for everything that you have been doing for us, not because we have given anything, but because you have chosen to bless us with this knowledge and with a good life. Alhamdulillah for the health you have given us, and Alhamdulillah for the ability to heal others that you have given us. We thank you so very much. We have a young man who is celebrating his birthday. Ya Allah, grant blessings to his life, make his parents worthy to be able to look after him and to train him very well, and then make him a worthy son of his parents. For all of us in class, all 54 right now in class, there were about 70 people in class. Ya Allah, by your grace, Ya Allah, bless us and improve us in knowledge. Make this journey of ours a blessing for us and everybody who comes along our path. Ya Rabbil Alameen, Ya Hayyu, Ya Qayyum, Ya Dal Jalali wal Ikram. Protect us from ourselves, from greed of our souls. Protect us from bad counsel and bad people. Make us selfless and selfish to be able to help those in need when they come to us at their most vulnerable points. Ya Allah, make our quest to heal override our quest to enrich ourselves. Ya Dal Jalal wa Ikram, bless us with that which we would use to sustain and keep ourselves and our families in good health and in good surroundings and in good habits. Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ya Allah, we thank you for Sastry Ji, for his life, for the circles he has gone through from ICU to class and from class to ICU and back to class again. Ya Allah, give him good health
The grace of Allah.
and give him more knowledge and make this knowledge useful to all of us. Make us able to be good ambassadors to Sastry Ji. And for everybody here,
Amen.
I pray we all become one big brotherhood of friends. A lot of us might never ever see ourselves physically, but we share a common bond to heal and we share a common teacher.
Amen.
May we always support ourselves. سبحانك رب العزة
Ameen.
عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين.
Ya Rahmatullahi Rahmatullahi Kareem. Summa Amin. Om Namo Hrintanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Dhyanam, Namo Ujjayanam, Namo Lohe Sarva Sahunam, Eso Panch Namo Karo Sarva Papnashano, Mangalayacham Sabam Se Paramam, Hoi Mangala. तो कहा जाता है जब नमोकार हो जाता तो यू हैव प्रेड टू एवरीवन अरियंत संत सूक्ष्म सारे प्राणियों को आपने नमन कर दिया नमो लोहे सर्व साहुनम दिस वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट मंत्र इट इज सेड हिंदू माइथोलॉजी कि आपने सबको प्रणाम कर दिया एंड देन इस जब सबको आपने व्हेन यू डिस्ट्रॉय योर ईगो the enlightenment comes enlightenment the father the shepherd of the sheep who has given us the power to think, understand, analyze, be with us. With this prayer, may in the glory of the Lord, to His Son and the Holy Spirit, guide us in the proper way. May the knowledge and wisdom be with us. In Sanskrit, it is very wisely said, Vidya vinati vinayat vinayat dadati patratam dhanatapitam dhanata dharmo tatho sukham. Means by the knowledge you acquire skill, with skill you acquire wisdom, with wisdom so Vidya Vinati Vinaya means Vidya gives you knowledge, gives you wisdom. Wisdom gives you skill. With this skill, you earn money, and that money which you use for the better purpose of the society, dhanata dharma tatho sukham. When you take your brain to the right direction, in the right way, in the right moment, I'm sure nothing is going to go wrong. Even on the day of judgment, you will get the finest judgment by the Allah. In the day when your Al Fatiha will be read, you will be the happiest person because you have taken the right way, the right path, the right choice. That is what we said in Hindi. ये right choice बे हाँ हाँ कौन सा ऐड है ये मजे में कहाँ का है ये right choice बे हाँ हाँ
पेप्सी
कौन सा ऐड का है
पेप्सी का होगा।
पेप्सी
हाँ
पेप्सी।
पेप्सी है सर, पेप्सी पेप्सी का।
अच्छा पेप्सी का अच्छा हमारे
पेप्सी
टीवी
का।
देखे को जमाना हो गया ये पुराने ऐड है नए बच्चों को तो मालूम भी नहीं होगा इन
नहीं,
ऐडों के
उनको तो
बारे
पता
में
है।
शकील के जन्म का पहले का ऐड है शकील जब तुम अल्लाह के घर में था तब का ऐड है ये राइट चॉइस पे है उस समय निकलता था वो क्या नाम है तुम गोड स्पॉट
थम्स अप।
तुम जन्म नहीं हुआ था तब का बात बोल रहे हैं हम लोग गोड स्पॉट कभी पिया है गोड स्पॉट पेंटा का जैसा आता था गोड स्पॉट
गोल्ड स्पॉट।
हाँ गोड स्पॉट शकील ये हमारे जमाने में हम क्या करते थे 3 रुपए में एक बोतल आती थी 2 रुपए में
सही बात है।
स्कूल टाइम से जाओगे तो 2 रुपए मिलेगा एक चवन्नी मिलेगी फिर 2 रुपए जमा करते थे चवन्नी मिला मिला के 2 रुपए होते थे तो 5 फ्राइडे को जाके गॉड स्पॉट पी के आते थे आज सारा गॉड स्पॉट पी के आया अच्छा
सर हाफ कटिंग 50 पैसे की थी।
2 रुपए में कुछ हाँ
हाफ कटिंग 50 पैसे की थी ना। चाह 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 जो थी,
क्या जी राजेश
चाह चाह जो थी वो हाफ कटिंग 50 पैसे की थी।
हाँ?
चाह कटिंग।
भाई उस समय तो 25-25 पैसा हाँ हाफ कटिंग होते थे और 25-25 चार नहीं मिलते थे तो चार आना जोड़ जोड़ के बना तो हफ्ते के लास्ट में 2 रुपए बनते थे and that 2 rupee disciplined us because if we are in the whole day in the right way we'll get the 25 paisa so if we 25 paisa for the 5 days we'll get one cold drink and the sixth day so this is how we were disciplined and because of that gold spot I give credit to this gold spot because of which I have become disciplined in my life 25 paisa made me disciplined and that is why I wrote the magic of 25 paisa in my life. That is why I teach for free. I learned because nature has given me so much. Now it is my time to give back to the nature. If any one of you can develop good skills, understanding, help the society, the purpose of this class is solved. I don't want that you become big people, but एक अच्छी विचारधारा आज का क्लास का समरी एक ही ब्रेन आर्ट का साथ सबका विकास Vasudev Kutumbakam. Yani the whole brain is our family, the whole body is our family, and you cannot ignore anything. Number one, Vasudev Kutumbakam. Right?
Yes.
So they were asking me to give you a talk. I said, what do you see the brain? I say Vasudev Kutumbakam. Everyone is associated with the regeneration and degeneration of the brain. Number one. And सबका साथ सबका विकास यानी अगर सबका विकास नहीं करोगे ब्रेन का विकास नहीं करोगे अच्छी विचारधारा नहीं डालोगे इफ यू डोंट पुट योरसेल्फ विद गुड थॉट्स गुड माइंड योर ब्रेन विल नेवर डेवलप इट्स ऑल अप टू यू व्हाट यू वांट टू डेवलप a good brain a good skill it only comes from good thoughts first try to be a good person then automatically you become a good physician and when you become a good physician you'll become a simple person the more simple you become the better your life becomes so with this I thank you सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे भवन्तु निरामयाः सर्वभद्राणि पश्यन्तु ईश्वरार्चनः so thank you all of you जय जगन्नाथ हाँ
जय जगन्नाथ
दास जय जगन्नाथ प्रभु तुम्हारी सारी
नमस्ते
थैंक यू सर।
thank you so much all of you. Thank you so much
थैंक यू सर।
ओम
थैंक यू।
शांति
थैंक यू सर
ओम शांति 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 शांति
थैंक यू
शांति ओम
सर
शांति
अल्लाह हाफिज थैंक यू
शांति
जय
ओम
जगन्नाथ।
शांति I close the class hereby right thank you so much
थैंक यू सर